I really suck at photographing the Milky Way. If you suck at it too, hang around. I've got a new scene here that I'm going to try and suck less at. So let's see if we can suck less together. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. So tonight, I plan on trying to photograph the Milky Way. As I've said previously, I really suck at this. And part of the reason why I suck at photographing the Milky Way is, in the past, what I've tried to do is one exposure to cover everything. Being a landscape photographer, I like everything to be as sharp as possible. When you shoot at high ISOs, the image quality does start to degrade pretty quickly. And as soon as that happens, I kind of lose interest in the photograph. But I've actually come across a new technique. Well, it's not a new technique, it's an old technique called light painting. And I'm going to give that a go tonight. So I've come out here to this little barn that I found out here. It's actually next to a busy highway, in case you can hear that in the background. I'm here with permission from the landowner, so that's a very important thing to make. And what I'm going to try tonight is actually photographing this barn using the techniques of light painting. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to focus a bunch of photographs on the actual stars themselves, and then I'm going to break this photograph down into different shots. So I'm going to, in Photoshop afterwards, post-process each one of the images to create a bit of a layer. So I'm going to go for a little bit of a walk around now, figure out how I'm going to break down those photos, and I'll come back to you in just a moment. Okay, first things first. So what I want to do is figure out where the Milky Way will be in correlation to the barn tonight. So I've got my mobile phone here. I'm going to open up the PhotoPills app, and in the PhotoPills app, I'm going to go to the Night AR component of that. It's going to open up the camera on my phone. And once I get that, I'll share the screen with you now. I'm going to turn myself around, and you can see the barn here. And as I move the time around, I should be able to figure out where the Milky Way is going to be. There it is, a bit later on tonight. So that's around 8:48 tonight, around about 9 o'clock. So I know around about that 9 o'clock time is when I want to be here to try and get some of that Milky Way. It's not going to be the complete core, but that's okay. It's not exactly what I'm after. So now that I know where the Milky Way is going to be, I know that I can photograph from roughly this, from this direction. I'm going to move a little bit over just a bit further. And actually work on getting those images of the Milky Way. Now that I've got that sorted out, let's go figure out how we're going to light paint this barn. All right, so this is the barn we're looking at using as our subject tonight. It's a two-sided barn, so just this side and the rear is actually enclosed. The other side and the front clearly are open. So let's figure out how we're going to light it. I want to break this down into a couple of different sections. So I really like this rustic look that we've got here. I want to try and keep that. So I'm going to try and light just this wall in one photograph. I'm going to light just this wall itself. Then I'm going to light the roof with another photograph. So that's two photographs I'm going to look at taking. I'm then going to come around to the front, and there's a little bit of structure just at the front here I'm going to try and light as well. So that'll be three photographs. And inside the actual barn itself, there's a, looks like an old trailer to cart some cattle. So I'm going to try and light that up as well. So that's, I think, now 4 photographs. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to also light up just the foreground. So that'll be a 5th photograph for the front, and then another one over here on the right-hand side. That'll be 6th photograph. The foreground doesn't look like a lot from where the camera is currently positioned, but when I move my SLR back to over the other side there and lower it down to the ground, we should get some really nice foreground interest in that as well. So hopefully that's how it's going to work, and then I'll post-process it and see how it comes out. So last night we had some really nice conditions. We had a nice clear sky. It was very cold, it was running around about 7 degrees. Unfortunately, we also had almost a full moon last night. So believe it or not, this area we're in was almost lit up just purely by moonlight. It was absolutely amazing. I was photographing at around about 400 ISO, and still the images look like they were being shot in the middle of the day. But nonetheless, we still took the opportunity to try out some light painting. So as you just saw in the photograph before, I managed to stick to the photographs I said I was going to take, all but one. In the end, I popped a red Ulanzi light inside the barn here, just to give it a bit of a red glow underneath. So that was one extra photograph that I took. And to recap the other ones I did, I shot this barn here from my left or your right hand side, maybe the other way around, just to do one frame on this side. I took one frame for the roof, one frame for the front, and then I took one frame for the foreground, so one on my right hand side here and one on the left hand side. I also put the camera at around about 45 degrees. So the biggest thing I didn't do last night was light anything from straight in front of the camera. Everything was always to the sides. The foreground shots, well actually most of the shots were shot from around about 10 to 15 meters away. That allowed me then to put each one of those photographs into Photoshop and use them as layers. It allowed me to control each light source, so control how bright this side was going to be as opposed to the roof, how bright the red was going to be as opposed to everything else, and balance everything out, which is the photograph we just showed a moment ago. I've really enjoyed coming out here, although there was no Milky Way, which is disappointing. It would have been absolutely fantastic getting in there. I did learn the light painting side of things, and I really enjoyed it. That building a photograph is absolutely fantastic to me. So I'll be coming back out here again when hopefully there's no moon in the sky. Well, hopefully there'll be a moon, because that'd be kind of detrimental if there isn't. But you know, we don't have a visible moon in the sky. Get this place darkened down, get that Milky Way up, run through the same techniques, and hopefully I'll be able to reproduce that photograph. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next one.